incorporate those variable lease payments from day one. Wait for the time when it is actually happened, and then you need to remeasure your lease liability. Then you need to remeasure your lease liability and ROU. Now, very interesting topic. This, I'll give you one practical example, real life example in that. And I'm not sure you guys have done this in your normal course or not, but here you will learn something from it. Now, look at here. You know, we only book deferred tax if there is a temporary difference. Temporary difference. We only book deferred tax if there is a temporary difference, or we call it timing difference. Timing difference. Like, for example, very basic example, dividend income. Dividend income. You know, sometimes we book dividend income in our accounting books on the basis of right to receive. Yes, we have already created a WhatsApp group, Mr. We have already created a WhatsApp group. So whoever is asking, please take the link. Thank you. I repeat. We only book deferred tax for temporary difference, right? Timing difference. For example, dividend. Sometimes we book dividend income on the basis of right to receive. So we, in accounting books, we book dividend income on the basis of right to receive. But when we go to tax department, they say, no, we don't want tax right now. We don't want tax right now. We'll charge tax in future. We'll charge tax in future when you will actually receive those dividends. So now, my dear student, there is a timing difference. There is a timing difference. Like you are receiving, like you booked income today, but tax department will charge tax in future. So there is a timing difference, right? Okay. And this timing difference is temporary difference. And I'm sure you know the two types of temporary difference: taxable temporary difference and deductible temporary difference. For taxable temporary difference, you need to book deferred tax liability. For deductible temporary difference, you need to book deferred tax asset. For deductible temporary difference, you need to book deferred tax asset. For deductible temporary difference, you need to book deferred tax asset. Okay. Now, these are certain exceptions of deferred tax. Means in these cases, you are not allowed. We are not allowed to book deferred tax. We are not allowed to book deferred tax. The first example is Goodwill. Now listen. Wait. This is P company. This is S company. Okay. P company. Look at here. P company bought 80%, or let us say 100% shares of S company, ordinary shares of S company, and got the control. Now, in accounting books, please look at me very carefully now. In accounting books, we will do proper consolidation. We'll compute goodwill. Yes, at the date of acquisition, we'll compute goodwill. We will do proper consolidation, adding together everything, right? That means for accounting books, purchase goodwill is a proper asset. And in accounting books, not only we record goodwill, in accounting books, not only we record purchase goodwill, but in future we book the impairment. In future, we book the impairment expense of that purchase goodwill. You guys better know these things. These are not new for you. But student, what happens when we go to the tax department? In the eyes of major tax departments, of the world, they treat that parent company as just bought shares. They don't treat this transaction as buying of a running business. They treat that they just bought shares. That's it. In the eyes of tax department, this is just investment in shares. In the eyes of tax department, this thing is just investment in shares. So they don't accept any consolidation or any goodwill or such thing. So now listen, but in the accounting books, not only we record the goodwill, but we'll also book the impairment expense of goodwill. Now just think over it. Look at me. In future, when we take this impairment expense, of goodwill to tax department, and we'll say, please allow this expense. please allow this expense. So they will say, no, 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 no. We don't allow this expense now and never. We will never allow it. Now, not even in future. So this is not a temporary difference. This is not a temporary difference. This is a non-temporary difference, like a permanent difference. So no more deferred tax on it. So no more deferred tax on this. No more deferred tax on it. This, please read it very slowly. These 4 lines. Now next, more interesting topic, very, very interesting topic. Undistributed profits of subsidiaries. Undistributed profit means a subsidiary company has earned that profit, but subsidiary company has not distributed it through dividend. Now, please invest some time in this. I will take 5 to 10 minutes just to explain this adjustment, and then I'll give you a real life practical example. If you have not heard that example before, it will give you a good knowledge. Listen, this is P company and this is S company. Okay, this is P company and this is S company. Now listen. You know, have you ever seen the consolidated income statement? Yes, you all have seen consolidated income statement. In consolidated income statement, we book sales, we are adding together sales for everything. That means we record complete. Look at here. We record complete income of subsidiary company in our books. In consolidated income statement, we do adding together. That means we record complete profits of S company in our books. That means we treat subsidiary company incomes as our income, because in economic reality we control it. Because in economic reality we control it, right? So on the basis of that economic reality, we book complete income of S company now in our books. We book complete income, we book complete profits, we book complete profits of S company in our books. So now when we go to tax department, with this income statement, and we say tax department that we have booked this income. Case number 1, listen, case number 1, we have booked the profits of S company. Now we'll say to tax department, okay, take tax of this. So tax department will say, no, we don't want to charge any tax on your subsidiaries profits. We'll say, why? So they will say, because our policy is we will only charge tax on you. We'll only charge tax from you whenever you will withdraw these profits in the form of dividends. Whenever you will withdraw these profits from your subsidiary in the form of dividend, then we'll charge. So in the case 1, I say, okay, in future I will withdraw it as a dividends. In future I will withdraw these profits as a dividend. So yes, in this case, this is a taxable temporary difference. In this case, this is a taxable temporary difference. Why? Because we are booking the income of S company, because we are booking the profits of S company now, and tax department is saying that we'll be charging tax on these profits. We will be charging tax on these profits in future. We will be charging tax on these profits in future if you withdraw as a dividend. And we say, yes, we will take out dividends in future. So yes, it's a taxable TD now. It's a taxable TD. In this case, it's a taxable TD for sure, because you have booked income now, and on that income, tax department will charge tax in future. So yes, it's a taxable TD now, and you should book deferred tax liability in this case. This is the first event. Second event. Now you book Now, parent company just book the profits of S company in their own books, like normal consolidation. And we go to tax department. Tax department will say, no, 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 we don't want to charge any tax now. But if you withdraw in future these dividends, if you withdraw these profits in future in the form of dividends from S company, then yes, we'll charge. Then yes, we'll charge dividends from you. In that case, now what we replied, we said, no, we have no intentions to withdraw dividends from this subsidiary. We have no intention, and it is highly probable that we won't withdraw. So in this case, there is no taxable temporary difference. In this case, there is no taxable TD, because now in future there will be no more dividends. In future, we won't withdraw any dividends. And yes, we are the controlling party. Only we can decide about the dividends. No other party can decide. We have got the sole authority that whether to withdraw or not. And yes, we are saying that we won't withdraw. So in this case, it's a non-temporary difference. Now there is no temporary difference, because in future there is no tax. In future there is no tax. Now read this. P company has control over dividend policy of S company, but it is highly probable that P company won't withdraw dividends from this S company. In that case, there is no taxable TD. It's a non-temporary difference. It's a non-temporary difference. Now, I often say my student this tagline. See, read this tagline. Read this tagline. What is the tagline? You can, but you won't. You can, but you won't. You can, but yes, parent company can take out dividends. Parent company can take out dividends, but parent company won't. But parent company won't, but you won't. Why parent company won't take out dividends? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me why parent company won't take out dividends from this subsidiary? Because there are some subsidiaries which we keep for growth purposes. We constantly reinvest our funds in that, and we want extreme growth. So in that case, we don't withdraw. We don't withdraw dividends. But you know, last 6 to 7 years, I got a practical example for this line. Previously, I used to give different examples, like the way I said growth and all. But in 2015 or 2014, I got one very good real life example with the name of the country. And this is the example. Read it. Do you guys know where corporate America? Do you guys know where corporate America saves money? Corporate America saves money. Corporate America means big giants companies of America, USA. They saves money in Mexico. You know, Mexico shares border with USA. We all know that. And in Mexico, if you compare United States and Mexico, in Mexico there is high crime rate, lot of drugs. Even you have seen that season Narcos, I think, on Netflix. It's about drugs and major Mexico. So in Mexico, corruption is also very high. High drugs usage and a lot of these things. So that's why Mexico government has reduced the tax rate. Reduce the tax rate to 10% almost. Just for instance, just think the corporation tax rate in Mexico is 10%. But the corporation tax rate is in America is 30 to 40%. For example, I don't know the exact number. In USA, the corporation tax rate is 40%, but in Mexico it's 10%. So what happens? All the big giants companies, they keep their subsidiaries in Mexico. All big giant companies of America, they keep their subsidiaries in Mexico in order to avoid tax, because in Mexico the tax rate is only 10%. So they earn whatever they earn, they accumulate in Mexico. They accumulate in Mexico because in Mexico the tax rate is only 10%. You're not getting. And they never withdraw their funds because they know if they withdraw their funds in the form of dividends, they will have a big tax in US. In US, they have to pay tax. In United States, they have to pay a big tax. Now what happens? Listen the end of the story. But when United States, US government realized that companies not bringing funds in US, so sometimes after many years, they give a tax holiday. They give a tax holiday for 1 year that now, okay, if this year you will bring the funds in United States, we won't charge any tax. So in this way, they take the funds. So this is the ideal example. This is the ideal example that if you are a giant company in USA and you have a subsidiary in Mexico, so you won't withdraw dividends, because if you withdraw dividends, you will get a big hit of tax. Did you understand this example? Did you understand this example, my dear students? Yes, there is a possibility. One student is contributing I think he is saying the Bermuda. Yes, there are different other tax havens as well. There are different other, but for USA and Mexico shares border. Mexico is very near to USA. So if they open the subsidiaries, they can easily travel as well. There may be other reasons. Did you understand the example of Mexico and USA? Please reply on the chat box. And yes, this thing which I have taught you, this is a non-routine area, but yes, you should have this knowledge. Now, in the end, I would like to tell you guys that be active on the WhatsApp group. And I have already solved the latest past papers. The latest past paper means September, December 2021 past paper, which is available on internet. I have solved it, and that four webinar classes are very, very important. 4 webinar classes are very important.